Okay, so I'll take you back to one of my really old notebooks of theories. Um, I'll explain this one in a bit, but you were surprised about my handwriting, and it was a bit worse in the past. This used to be my handwriting. Yeah, only I could read it, but to me it was pretty cool. Um, it says in all caps, "Do not worry about the future. You're conditioned into preparing for it." Interesting. But we're focusing on this theory at the moment. I have some drawings based on what the drawing is about. There's a reference to Albert Einstein as well. But it's basically an epiphany I had trying to figure out the secrets of the cosmos, going against the schooling education, and thinking for myself. And then I went on to like looking at an atom, the smallest object of matter to our knowledge, and taking into consideration the elliptical path of the Earth around the Sun, since summer means that the Earth is closer to the Sun, and at one point that the opposing placement of the farthest away being at winter, a non-perfect circle, because the theory in urban thinking is that if you are able to draw a perfect circle with one line, then you are non-existent. It's a weird theory that someone had, and that it's physically and virtually impossible for a human to draw a perfect circle in one line. Perfect. So, yeah. So I had this thought that the universe was made to be non-perfect, and going around the revolution around the sun, creating a small diagram of that, where this would be us. Yeah. And then the fact that each time it reaches the end of summer, the gravitation cannot hold it to revolve exactly the same, and that the path will eventually lean to change, to be similar to how an atom sort of the electrons revolve around it. So I created this diagram here, creating a separate belt of its own. Even though it's a smaller change over the course of time, it'll change drastically eventually over the course of billions of years. But just as you said, time is an illusion created by us. So eventually I question what pattern would it create, while I created on the diagram. And to understand the theory, we first have to understand time. There's the definition by Albert Einstein that goes into it exactly, yeah. But carrying on, it was against climate change. It was sort of when climate change was very new, and studies were still happening on it. And I wanted to see that if climate change was in fact caused by us for the most part, or if there was a contribution that our elliptical path was just changing and we were getting closer to the sun, because the sun's gravity eventually, as it grows, is going to get stronger. So maybe we're getting closer to the sun. But eventually it goes into the ice age explanation, the human species being at its most complex as it is now, and then that eventually we'll probably have an ice age because we're going to be the furthest away. So it's sort of like, what's our adaptability being the most complex? And yeah, a spiral snail had died in these pages. Time travel, shape shifting, perhaps. Yeah, there was a spiral snail that died in between this book, which was crazy to me. So I said, was it me that time traveled, just as a sign, you know? But in any case, it was also a theory that we are the most amount of people that the Earth has ever had, and if an average human being weighs around you could say 60 kilograms, 55 or so, then what would that impact on this elliptical path? Would it also be a contributing factor to bring us closer because we have more mass, and the sun is increasing its own mass, so we're just becoming a magnet, you know? But yeah, that's about it.